Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will be a monkey's uncle. Yeah. Breaking Supreme Court blocks Trump's use of Alien Enemies Act to deport illegals. Justice Thomas and Alito dissent. Meaning that Justice Thomas and Alito didn't agree with the decision. But it's 9 people on the Supreme Court, so that means 7 of them did. Now, the Supreme Court is supposed to be majority conservative. So this should have been an easy thing. But we didn't get that, ladies and gentlemen. So I call it Supreme Bull Junk. Yeah, boy, Supreme Bull Junk. And I want to react to this. I think it's very important that we understand where we are as a nation. There are all your Supreme Court justices, multiple who have been appointed by Donald J. Trump. And the problem that we're running into right now, ladies and gentlemen, is that if the Supreme Court does not uphold the law of the land, which we know that no illegal alien is entitled to due process. But I want to paint a picture for you. Imagine for a moment if right now we're dealing with illegal criminals, MS-13, Trade Aragua, and all the rest of this. I want you to imagine for a moment if this was hostile, truly hostile enemies in the streets shooting military style. What would they do then? Now, these organizations have been designated as terrorist organizations. So it surprises me. It doesn't surprise me that when it comes to pro-Palestinian people who would be pro-Hamas, they call it pro-Palestinian, but it would be pro-Hamas. Venezuelans, MS-13 and Trade Aragua. It doesn't surprise me that when it gets to the Supreme Court, they start acting crazy because they want a civil war in the United States of America. They want people to take arms up and fight. Now, the question is, how close are we to that? I don't think we're very close yet. I think what we're going through is a heavy exposure campaign as to how deep the globalists have penetrated the United States of America. How ingrained we are as a nation with these sellouts. And I said last month, I said the CIA needs to get active. And every weapon that is being used against the American people, the Trump administration has control of. And unfortunately, they're not using those weapons, whether it be InfraGard, where they give pastors what to preach in church, whether it be the CIA, whether it be the Smith-Mont Act, where they force the media to carry out mockingbird talking points. Unfortunately, the weapons that have been weaponized against the American people are going to have to be engaged. And I know the Trump administration doesn't want to do it because anything that he does that they've been doing, they'll have a problem with. So, for example, Obama deported people, put illegal aliens on planes and deported them, and flew them out of here. Yep, sure did. But when he does it, because they don't control those mechanisms and those powers of the president, office of president, they fight him. As long as the globalists are in charge of the powers of the executive branch, they don't have no problem with those powers being used. As long as they are able to have someone in there who's compromised, they don't have a problem with it being used because they get to direct that branch of government. What you're seeing right now is the fact that that branch of government is no longer in the control and in the hands of these wicked people. And so now they all fight against it. And it's sad. I mean, this is a very sad thing. The U.S. Supreme Court issued an early morning decision Saturday, temporarily blocking President Trump's effort to deport illegal aliens, specifically Venezuelan nationals, using the long-standing Aliens Enemies Act of 17 1798. Now, they did it on a Saturday morning. Why? Because nobody's paying attention. It's the Saturday before Easter or Resurrection Day. Definitely nobody's paying attention to the news. The far left ACLU case is currently under review by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals after receiving a tip that illegal aliens were being loaded on buses for removal. The ALCU rushed to the Supreme Court seeking an emergency injunction to block the deportations. While waiting for the Fifth Circuit Court to act, the court issued an unsigned order siding with the ACLU, temporarily halting the removal of dozens of Venezuelans detained at the Blue Bonnet Detention Center in Texas. The ACLU petition, filed on behalf of two Venezuelan men identified as AARP and WMM, claimed that the government is violating Supreme Court's ruling in Trump versus JGG, April 7, 2025, which mandate that detainees receive adequate notice and a chance to challenge their removal under AEA, under Aliens Enemy Act, right? Since when does an alien and an enemy have a right to challenge their removal? Now, the average person on YouTube won't go this far, but I want to see if there's any truth to this. I would like to read the Aliens Enemy Act here on Aliens Enemy Act PDF. I want to see it myself. So this is 1798. Let's move this to where it's on the screen where we all can see it. And let's see if they have a right. If they have a right, then okay. They don't, then they don't. Be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled that whenever there shall be a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government, or an invasion or predatory incursion shall be perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government, and the President of the United States shall make a public proclamation of the events, all natives, citizens, designants, and subjects of hostile nation or government being male of the age of 14 years and upwards, who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized, shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, and removed as alien enemies. The President of the United States shall be, and he is hereby authorized in any event, as foresaid, by the proclamation thereof or other public act, to direct the conduct to be observed on the part of the United States towards the aliens who shall become liable, and aforesaid the manner and degree of the restraint to which they shall be subject, and in what case, we're right here, and in what case and upon what security their residence shall be permitted, and to provide for the removal of those who do not belong, not being permanent to reside within the United States, shall refuse or neglect to deport thereof, and to establish any other regulations which shall be found necessary in the premises and for the public safety, provided, that's basically saying he got the right to throw them out, provided the alien resident within the United States who shall become liable as enemy in the manner foresaid, who shall not be chargeable with actual hostility or other crimes against the public safety, shall be allowed for recovery, disposal, and removal of their goods and effects, and for their departure for the full time which is or shall be stipulated by any treaty where any shall have been between the United States and a hostile nation or government, or which shall be native citizens, citizens, or subjects, and where no such treaty shall have existed, the President of the United States may ascertain and declare such reasonable time as be consistent with the public safety and according to the dictates of humanity and national hospitality. So, the key to this is the President of the United States may ascertain and declare such reasonable time as may be consistent with the public safety and according to the dictates of humanity and national hospitality. So this is why they came out and said that these people are public safety threats because they are public safety threats to the United States of America, which is why they're being removed. Section 2. If and be it further enacted, so this is in addition, that after any proclamation shall be made, as aforesaid, it shall be the duty of several courts of the United States and of each state having criminal jurisdictions and of several judges and justices of the courts of the United States, and they shall be and are hereby respectively authorized upon complaint against any alien or alien enemy as foresaid, who shall be resident at large within such jurisdiction or districts, to the danger of public peace or safety, and the contrary to the tenor or intent of such proclamations or other regulations which the President of the United States shall and may establish in the premises, to cause such alien or aliens to be duly apprehended and convened before such court, judge, or justice, and after a full examination and hearing of such complaint, the and sufficient cause thereof appearing, shall and may order such alien or alien to be removed out of the territory of the United States, or to give sureties of their good behavior, or to otherwise restrain comfortably to the proclamation of the regulations which shall be established as foresaid, and may imprison or otherwise secure such aliens or aliens under the order which shall and may be made as foreshadowed, as foresaid, shall be performed. Part 3, Section 3, and be it further enacted that it shall be the duty of the marshal of the district in which any alien shall be apprehended, by whom by the President of the United States or by order of any court, judge, or justice, as foresaid, shall be required to depart and to remove, as foresaid, to provide therefore, and to execute such order by himself or his deputy or other discreet persons or persons to be employed by him, by causing a removal of such alien out of the territory of the United States. And for such removal, the marshal shall have the warrant of the President of the United States, of the court, judge, or justice, ordering the same, as the case may be. All right. So here's where they are. This is what they're standing on. And it's in the law. They're standing on this section. Where's the beginning of this sentence? Section 2. And be it further enacted, that after any proclamation shall be made as aforesaid. So the president may adopt the proclamation. It shall be the duty of several courts of the United States, several courts, and of each state having criminal jurisdiction, and of several judges and justices of the courts of the United States. So this is the justices, the Supreme Court justices. And there shall be, and hereby respectively authorized upon complaint against an alien or alien enemies, as aforesaid, who shall be resident at large within such jurisdiction or districts. So now we're going to district judges, to the danger of public peace or safety. So in the case of Kilian Garcia, everything in this was met. He had met the requirements prior to him being deported. He had been picked up in a local court, in his district, arrested. He went before a judge. They determined he was a gang member. He was a public safety threat, and his behind was deported. So as it pertains to Garcia, people keep on saying he didn't have due process. He don't need no due process. And to me, it sounds like this due process that they're testifying to means they need to come before a district court judge or a judge within the area. Well, if they're getting them out of prison, right, and they've already committed a crime, then they fall under this, that they are a danger to society or danger to the United States. So they already met that criteria. So when you start talking about them having due process, they already had that process. Your ass was arrested and you were charged. So when Tom Homan goes to get someone out of prison, man, they already been charged. It's been proven that they're a public safety threat. So they can be deported. Um, and so when they start saying about due process, what they want is, if let's say Tom Homan picks a guy up on a work site that has MS-13 tattoos, they want him to be arrested, brought into the court, face the judge, then go to jail, and then be picked up. But then what they don't want to do is, in those same districts, they don't want to allow ICE into the jails to pick those people up and deport them. Is it making sense? We'll keep reading. Who shall be the resident? I'm going to start right here. Who shall be resident and at large within such jurisdiction or districts to the danger of public peace or safety, and contrary to the tenor of intent of such proclamations or other regulations which the President of the United States shall and may establish in the premises being United States, to cause such alien or aliens to be duly apprehended and convened before such court, judge, or justice, and after a full examination and hearing on such complaint, sufficient cause therefore appearing, shall or may order such alien or aliens to be removed out of the territory of the United States, or to give sureties of good behavior, or to be otherwise restrained comfortably to the proclamation or regulations which shall and may be established as foresaid, and may imprison or otherwise secure such alien or aliens until order which shall and may be made as foresaid shall be performed. So the order from the president is what supersedes everything else. Their options that they have are this: as judges, they can give sureties to their good behavior, or to be otherwise restrained comfortably to the proclamation or regulations which shall be established by the president. This is the only options they have. So here's the thing. You have a judge that can say, judge can give sureties of their good behavior in court, right? Well, they behave good, but then the option is they're going to either be restrained, or they're going to fall under the orders of the government, the president of the United States. Let's keep with section 3. This is about the treaties. And it will be further enacted that it shall be the duty of the marshal of the district in which any alien enemy shall be apprehended, whom by the President of the United States or by order of any court, judge, or justice, as aforesaid, shall be required to depart and be removed as aforesaid, to provide therefore, and to execute such order by himself or his deputies or other discreet persons to be employed by him by cause a removal of such aliens out of the territory of the United States. And for such removal, the marshal shall have the warrant of the President of the United States, or the court, judge, or justice ordering the same, as the case may be. Now, the key to this verbiage is or. I'm going to read it to you again, which means that what Donald Trump is doing, he has the right to do. Watch this. This is just written in one big long run-on sentence, but watch this. All right. We'll just start here. And it be further enacted that it shall be the duty of the marshal of the district which any alien shall be apprehended, whom by the President of the United States, or so he's apprehended by the President of the United States, meaning the president said he needs to be gotten, or by order of any court, judge, or justice. So we got the president, a regular judge, which will be like a municipal judge or a state federal judge or a justice, right? These are all or statements. It's not and, like you got to have Trump's approval and the Supreme Court's approval. It's or, meaning this one or this one or this one. Apples or oranges or banana, right? As aforesaid, shall be required to depart and to be removed. Shall be required to depart and be removed, as foresaid, to provide, therefore, and to execute such order by himself or his deputies or other discrete persons, which means that it don't have to be a deputy, it don't have to be ICE or other discrete persons or persons to be employed by him by causing a removal of such alien out of the territory of the United States. And for such removal, the marshal shall have the warrant of the President of the United States. So here it is. To remove them, you need the warrant of the President of the United States or, not and, of the court, judge, or justice. When we talk about justice, we talk about Supreme Court justice ordering the same as the case may be. So the president can order these people removed. What they're hinging on is this whole thing about them needing to, about this section of the clause right here, and shall be established in the premises to cause such aliens to be duly apprehended and convened before such court, judge, or justice, and after a full examination and hearing of such complaint, and sufficient cause therefore appearing, shall and may order such aliens or aliens to be removed out of the territory of the United States. This is what they're hinging everything they're doing on, and this is what they're trying to catch Donald Trump on, as they're saying it would be, a constitutional crisis. I'm going to say this. I think Donald should bring every last one of them back at this point in time. I think he should have to go through the process. I think he should. I think he should bring every last one of them back. I think he should. Because this is not going to end well for the Supreme Court justices. It's not going to end well for the Democratic Party. Not only would I bring them back, I would let them go back into population of the United States of America. If I was president, that's what I would do. I would say, okay, y'all want the criminals back? I would bring them back and I would let them go. And I will let them go, and then we will monitor them. And then when they about to make another crime, when they about to rape or murder or somebody else, we would have it all on video and we would arrest them. And then we'll bring it all back up again before the court of public opinion, because this is all about public opinion. This has nothing to do with common sense. This is all about the court of public opinion. And this is all about Pyrrhic victories for the Democratic Party. It truly is a Pyrrhic victory to bring back Garcia. I mean, all you're doing is making it seem like you care more about illegal aliens than you care about the people of the United States. I would let them make this mistake. Now, the problem that we have is, in the midst of tariff wars, and trade wars, and negotiations to stop World War III, it makes the president, the office of the president of the United States, look weak. So if I'm Putin and we're supposed to be negotiating the end of World War III, and you can't legally deport people out of your nation without your government, without your justice uprising against you, I wouldn't do a deal with you. I would just have to say, and I would come out publicly, and I would say, I would love to do the deal with the United States of America, but based on what I see in America, I don't see there be a life-lasting long peace with the Ukraine, because America has been taken over by globalists. I would walk away from the table. If I'm looking out for my nation, if I'm the president of Russia, I would walk away. I would say, you know what, Donald, I want peace, but you can't guarantee peace. You can't. You can't guarantee me peace until your house is in order, and your house is not in order. And as your house is not in order, you can't make any guarantees. And I would just bomb the crap out of the Ukraine and keep on bombing. Because honestly, you can't guarantee anything. If you can't deport people who've been raping and killing your sons and daughters and your wives, how the hell are you going to enforce anything? And see, this is the problem with the Democratic Party, and this is the problem with the extreme leftists. They ain't thinking about they want this. And the average leftist is not thinking about the consequences and repercussions of their actions. They're not thinking about how this behavior makes America less safe. How this behavior makes America look worse on the world stage. They just want to get Trump. They just want to get Donald Trump. That's all they want. Get Trump, man. We got to get him. And quite frankly, if these globalists succeed in their actions and what they're trying to do, you could kiss goodbye to everything that you have. Had they had this Kamala Harris won this last election, you could kiss goodbye to everything that you believe in. And so right now, anyone sitting here listening to me, I want you to imagine for a second, your wife was brutally murdered by one of these people. Brutally. Now they were arrested, they were apprehended. And what you're trying to tell me is a person who's here illegally, then committed murder, which is another violation of the law of the United States of America, needs to go to a trial. What ends up happening is violence. And the craziest thing is that's what they want. They want an uprising of all these illegal aliens, men. And I want you to understand something. This law talks about men. Watch this. Where did it go? Because it said men age 14. Watch this. It's specifically about men because the people who founded the Constitution understood that a nation was about men. Men biblically defined a nation. Watch this. We'll just start here. Be it enacted by the Senate and House Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled that whenever there shall be a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government or any invasion or predatory incursion shall be perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States. So when you hear them on the news, they will say, well, is America at war with Venezuela? Watch this. Then, whenever there shall be a declared war between the United States of America and any foreign nation, comma, or government, comma, or an invasion or predatory incursion shall be perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States. Not and, or. So, or, each of these things have their own definition. Or, not and. So when people say, well, Donald Trump can't do that because we're not at war with Venezuela. No, it said or, a predatory incursion. But well, if you send people into our nation, military-age men, but it's not from all over the world, that is a predatory incursion. But that wasn't what I was trying to get to. Or threatened against the territories of the United States by foreign nations or government, and the President of the United States shall make a public proclamation of the event. All native citizens, residents, or subjects of the hostile nation or government, being males of age 14 years and upwards, shall be within the United States and not actual, who shall be in the United States and not actual naturalized, shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, or removed as alien enemies. There's a reason why we saw all men crossing the border. Because what is it? You can say it was an incursion. You can say it was an invasion. This is how much lying our media does. Now, in context of this, we've read it ourselves. Let's go look and see what the news media is saying. Now that we've read it ourselves, let's go look and see what the news media is saying. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a listen to what's going on. Now, let's listen to our media. Caitlin Collins, the once conservative who sold out to the Democratic Party and went to CNN with her demonic smile. Here she is, and let's take a listen. Now, this is about Garcia. Now, according to the act that we've read, Garcia has met every criteria for him to be thrown out of this nation. He's a verified gang member, number one. Number two, he was apprehended. Number three, he's gone before a court. And there was a reason why, in my opinion, Garcia was chosen, because this contention over Garcia fits this law perfectly. There was two judges that found him to be a member of MS-13, right? And then the judge actually did what the law said. The judge said that he would be able to stick around and confine them, and they vouched for him. And then the president said, no, he got to go.
Spent decades working on immigration enforcement, serving as a top ICE official under President Obama, and now serving as President Trump's border czar. Tom Homan, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you. We heard from President Trump today, essentially telling reporters, talk to the lawyers when he was asked about Judge Boasberg's ruling that probable cause exists to hold officials in criminal contempt, potentially for violating his orders. Do you think that any of your colleagues have violated orders here?
No, I don't. I think we follow the judge's order. I think we'll let that litigate in court. No, DOJ is fighting that in court, but I don't think we did anything wrong.
And so you're not worried about any of the conversations when it came to Judge Boasberg saying turn the deportation flights around, and yet they continued to make their way to El Salvador?
Well, you know, I think the information shows those planes were already in the air in international water, as far as I know. So I don't think we did anything wrong. According to his written order, I think we did everything by the numbers.
And Siri, you're not ultimately worried here that anyone will be held in contempt or anything like that as they continue this fact-finding investigation?
Look at that damn demonic smile. Look how her lips are in here, and it is just way over here. Y'all see this crap?
Investigation overall on this effort.
No, I'm not concerned about it. I mean, fact find all they want. I think the evidence is clear. I think DOJ's made a strong case, and we'll let it play out in court. I mean, as I sit here today talking to you, I don't think anybody in the administration did anything wrong. I don't think we've actually violated a court order.
So we have two judges here. That's Judge Boasberg's ruling that we found yesterday that the president was asked about. The other judge here, the federal judge in Maryland, Judge Zinnes, has been criticizing the government this week for what she says is doing, quote, nothing to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States. Are you personally aware of any steps that have been taken to facilitate his return to the United States?
Look, I think he's a citizen of El Salvador. He's in El Salvador. He's home. He's an illegal alien with a final order of removal. He's a MS-13 member, which is now classified as a terrorist. So we removed an illegal alien, MS-13 member, who has a final order of removal issued by an immigration judge to his homeland.
So should I read that as to say nothing has been done to bring him back to the United States? That's what it sounds like.
And you know, here's the thing. This is the craziest thing about this. This is not an interview. This is her cross-examining this man on national TV so somebody can use this as evidence in a court case. Listen to it. It's a cross-examination. This ain't no interview. Specifically pointing questions as a cross-examination. It's wild. This media is the enemy of the American people. Point blank, period. I promise you, if we were to go back to 1980, there would be man, get them people the hell out of here. This is crazy. Listen to it.
I can't speak to everybody in the administration. I can just tell you what my stance is. And I think we did the right thing. I think he's where he should be. And the order of withholding that everybody keeps talking about, order of withholding is you set aside because he's a designated terrorist, which order of withholding is meaningless, I believe, according to the attorneys. And look, even if he came back, people think he's going to be released and go back to, no, he's going to be detained and he's going to be removed as per the order of removal, either to El Salvador or another country. So this person has an order of removal. He's seen two different immigration judges and he's been ordered deported. That's exactly what happened.
I'm glad you brought that up because that withholding removal order essentially said the one place he can't go is El Salvador, where he's from. He claimed that he was concerned he could be persecuted if he was returned. Why not simply have him return to the U.S., detain him, and then deport him to a third country? Wouldn't that be in accordance with the law?
I think we're in accordance with the law. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I'm not DOJ fighting this case, but my opinion, in the years I spent doing this job, he is now designated a terrorist. The withholding orders is set aside. And we got to remember the withholding order was issued years ago. Things have changed. El Salvador is one of the safest countries in the region because of.
Man, the hell with this dude. In my opinion, if they want to bring him back, bring him back. I said this the other day. I will put him in the worst hole in the ground I could find. When I say the worst hole in the ground, I will put him in, just to make a point, I will put him in the worst hole in the ground in existence. Remember the movie Batman? This prison wasn't real. Remember the movie Batman when he faced off with Bane and Batman ran up on Batman on thing, I'm Batman. And Bane said, and he put out all the lights, and he was like, the dark? You think you're afraid of the dark? I was born in the dark, shaped in the dark, molded by the darkness. I think he said, you think darkness is your ally, your friend? I was molded in the darkness. I would put him in the prison equivalent to that. Equivalent to that is where he would go. And I will make a point. Every time y'all do this, it's going to get worse for the person. I will pull him out, put him in prison for a day, and then put him in the worst hole in the ground. Yeah, it's insane that this is what the Democratic Party stands for, and this is what our media stands for.
With the steps President Bukele take. The gangs are no longer operating on the streets of Venezuela, in El Salvador. That's why he built that prison. So I don't think the gang danger that they once thought was there is even there anymore. So the situation has changed. It's much like temporary protected status, the TPS. That it's only temporary. When the conditions in the country have changed, TPS can be ended and they can be removed to the country.
But why not make that argument in court? If you think that you can make the argument that he is fine to go back to El Salvador, why not just make that argument and try?
I wouldn't make the argument in court because it's the law. He should be out. This is crazy. This is why nobody watches CNN, because it pisses people off. It really does.
Terminate that order that said that the one place he couldn't go to was the one place that he was sent to.
Look, again, I'm not litigating this case to the DOJ. I think DOJ's continue to litigate the case, but I think we're in a good stance. I think we're in a good place. Again, I'm not an attorney. I can just speak to my experience as a guy who enforces immigration law, but I think that DOJ has a strong case, and I think we're standing by what we did was the correct thing to do.
Has the Attorney General Pam Bondi, to your knowledge, attempted to revise that withholding removal order?
See what I'm saying? A cross-examination. Somebody gave her these questions. Then I pointed, to your knowledge, and it's like she's an attorney. It's insane. Now that's CNN. We're going to go to MSNBC. You want to see something crazy? Let's watch how these people go. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, if you are watching me and you were born and raised in the United States of America, I don't care what skin color you are. I don't care where you was born. I don't care what hospital. I don't care what socioeconomic realm you live in, wealthy, poor, Section 8, middle class. Understand that you have rights as a citizen. And what they're going to do, and the media is trying to do, is put fear. And it's the craziest thing. We've been through a period where the media has released a spirit of fear on this nation. That spirit of fear that they released was during 2019, 2020. And you see the outcome of that spirit of fear that they released. So now they're back with their witchcraft, their sorcery, and everything else, trying to distill this fear in you again, that you gonna be deported. Now, quite frankly, under the powers of the presidency of the United States, based upon what happened during 9/11, he could deport any one of y'all that's a citizen. But that power has always been there since 9/11. Yeah, he could deport me today. Obama did it. They could whack me today. And if my family complained about it, whack my family if they wanted to. So when I see what Donald Trump is doing, I see a man who's not using the full control that he could. And he's not using all the powers that he could. I mean, quite frankly, what is it? The Patriot Act is what it was called, right? Go look at what could be done to you in the Patriot Act. Man, he ain't doing nothing that he could do. That's how I know that man has been anointed by God to do this, because I'm telling you, man, these people would be having problems if I was president. When I tell you they would have problems, they would have problems if I was president from day one. Hey, Army Ranger, SEAL Team 6, get in here. This SOB got to go. This SOB got to go. This one 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 got to go. Yeah, they would have problems, my brothers and sisters. But this attack on the integrity of the man, if you understand the actual powers of the presidency that they gave themselves when they collapsed them towers, then you'll understand that he ain't doing nothing compared to what others have done. But they ranting and raving, oh my God, it's important to all of us. If you understand this, it's going to be the end of the world. Let's listen to him lay out his argument.
Evening from New York, I'm Chris Hayes. You know, President Trump does more talking than any president I've ever seen. I mean, he's on TV more than I am, and I host an actual TV show.
He damn sure does more talking than the one that you supported last term, who came out and said, when I was in the 4th grade, I saw the colored kids on the bus. And what's amazing, still the black media ain't said nothing. When he came out with Charlemagne the Fraud and said, if you don't vote for me, then you're not black. They ain't say nothing. Chris Hayes ain't run out and say nothing. CNN ain't say nothing about that. But let's go on that Chris Hayes.
5 days a week, he's got the makeup on and the cameras are rolling. Today, he talked for half an hour at a award ceremony for the Naval Academy football team.
Yeah, that's because the man actually is a functioning president.
He talks a lot. But if you listen to him, you might notice what he almost never talks about. And it's weird because he's a Republican and they usually love talking about freedom. Not Trump. Never really talks about freedom or liberty. I mean, sure, he does.
Thank you. Let's diagnose the frame of this conversation. Just for those of you who are news connoisseurs, every conversation has a frame. So imagine this book, just the Book of God's Promises. If you don't have a Book of God's Everyday Promises, you should get it. Every conversation is framed. He laid out the very first section of the frame, which was Trump talks a lot. Now he's laying out the other side of the frame. This is about to be, he never talks about freedom. So we're framing a conversation, and let's see what the other two sides of the frame. We're missing this side and this side. And then he's going to stay within that frame with his attack. How do I know these things? Those who've been following me know never mind.
Use the words, like, for instance, last week, he signed the executive order on water pressure. He said it is to, quote, restore shower freedom. So you get a lot of that, shower freedom.
By the way, within frames, you minimize what a person has said or done or does. But you have to keep it within the frame, because if somebody breaks that frame, truth is outside of this frame. Inside of that frame is how you bounce your lies around. Let's keep going.
But you never really hear him talk about freedom and liberty in any meaningful way, like as the ideals this country was supposedly built upon. And it's because those ideals are just not meaningful at all to Trump. He doesn't really even care for.
There's the other frame. Freedom and liberty are not meaningful to him. Bottom frame. Oh, no. Go back.
Senator. Good evening from New York. He doesn't really even care for freedom, not for other people, for sure.
Lie.
If anything has been brought into very sharp focus in these first 85 days, particularly in just the last 24 hours, it is that Donald Trump is acting as an enemy of freedom.
There's the other frame. The enemy of freedom. Now you have the complete box set up for his attack. Now he has to open the top lid and pour the things inside of that frame. So I suspect the next 7 minutes will be him pouring into the frame. Let's see what he pours first. It's like cooking a gumbo, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get a little shrimp, got a little celery, You got your roux. You got some crab meat. You got some of salt, some of pepper, some Tony Satcheries. Here it come.
His administration is working to take away the liberties at the core of the American experiment.
Okay, liberties at the core of the American experiment.
He's waging an assault on freedom and liberty in almost any sphere he can.
In any sphere he can. Again, the frame was Trump does not believe in freedom and liberty.
In a couple of months, we have become a country where people are just being grabbed off the street, accused of crimes, and then sent to a foreign gulag without any American freedom stuff.
And then there it is. Wow. Somebody knows something about. Never mind. So the frame is set, and then he dumps these aliens who we just read the act, these criminal aliens who are public safety threats inside the frame. It's like putting it in a toaster. Think of the frame as like a toaster, right? Now you have your square toaster. You got to build the toaster first. Then you start sliding the bread and you press it down. So now the bread is inside the toaster. He going to pop it up for you. It's hard for me to watch this. This is why my videos have gotten shorter, if you guys don't understand. Because when you understand how people lie, when you have the ability to frame yourself conversations, then you sit there and you're like, man, this is such BS. It's overwhelming.
Due process or evidence,
in fact,
charges.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this play. I'm going to take these earbuds out and I'm going to read some of the word of God. And maybe that way I can stay focused.
The most egregious, chilling example, of course, is that of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who first came to the U.S. in 2011 as an undocumented 16-year-old sent by his mother because he'd been pressured to join a violent gang in his native El Salvador. In 2019, you'll recall that was during the first Trump administration, an immigration judge gave Garcia a protected immigration status, saying his life would be in danger if he were forced to return to El Salvador. And since then, Garcia has lived and worked here legally. He married an American woman. They started a family together in Maryland. Last month, after picking up his 5-year-old son who has special needs, Garcia was grabbed by ICE. And then within days, they had shipped Garcia off to CICOT, the Salvadorian gulag, along with hundreds of others caught in Trump's roundup. Now, he's never been charged with any crime. ICE has maintained he's a member of the MS-13 gang, but they've offered no proof in any court. He and his family says he has no ties to any gang. And that family, left to wonder now, will they ever see him again?
I will not stop fighting until I see my husband alive. Kilmar, if you can hear me, stay strong. God hasn't forgotten about you. Our children are asking, when would you come home? And I pray for the day I tell them the time and date that you'll return.
Close your eyes and listen to that tape, and it sounds like a woman whose husband's been taken hostage, begging the kidnappers to show mercy. An American woman, an American family. In fact, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was also an apprentice in the American building trades. This was his American Union president last week.
You want to build a $5 billion data center? Want more 6-figure careers with health care retirement and no college debt? You don't call Elon Musk. You call us. North America's building trades unions. And yeah, that means all of us. All of us. Including our brother, smart apprentice, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who we demand to be returned to us and his family now. Bring him home.
All right, that's enough of subjecting you to this straight up bull crap. Now, based upon everything you've seen in this video and everything you heard, and based upon looking at the Aliens Enemy Act, based upon the fact that there's 2 referrals for him to leave this nation, is there any argument where this Garcia dude should be returned? No. Is there any chance he's going to be returned? Quite frankly, no. Because they would require that the president of El Salvador will return him. But let me tell you what this does do for the Democratic Party. And how stupid they are. What this does do for the Democratic Party is it gives them something to attack. And it's kind of like when you're losing this bad, you need a drum to beat on. And if they can slow down the deportation of illegals who have driver's licenses, who they've given a right to vote, until the midterm, then maybe, just maybe, those people will go out to vote for them. And I admire what the president has been able to accomplish under the circumstances under which he's accomplishing these things. Because quite frankly, you notice everything stopped with the Elon Musk talk, and now it's about Garcia. Elon Musk is not the thing. And I feel sorry. I really do. I feel sorry for somebody who's a brainwashed Democrat at this point in time. Could you imagine your emotions being paced and led in all these different directions? So last month, it was Elon Musk is the devil. Now no longer Elon Musk is the devil. Now Garcia is an angel. What shall it be next month? What shall it be next month? What I'll say is this is going to end bad for the Democratic Party. There's no way this ends good. Their numbers are in the tank, and they're going to keep on tanking because we're talking about criminals who took advantage of women in the United States. We're talking about criminals right now. They're fighting this hard for criminals. I could see if it was a woman who came here and had children and had got a job and was paying bills, and she wasn't on the government dole, and she was working every day, and you could see, man, this chick appreciates being in America. I could see that. I could see you standing. They didn't even choose to stand up for that. I could see if it was somebody who came here illegally on the CHV program, which was set up by executive order, which, okay, you came here, got here. You went to work. You started working. You ain't been in no trouble. You ain't did nothing wrong. You paid taxes. You did everything that you support. You participated in American society. You go to church. People at the church willing to vouch for you. You doing everything right. I could see that person getting deported and somebody saying, no, man, we need to bring this person back. This is not a bad person. My heart will go out for that person. But this is about criminals that they're defending. Gang members. And then the Supreme Court comes along and says, nope, we're going to halt the deportation of gang members. And when I tell you this could end drastically bad if we had an evil president. If we had a president that was not led by the Spirit of God and was following his own flesh, I mean, he could just wipe these people off the face of the earth where they are. Like, they're terrorists. I mean, he could literally just, MS-13, they just getting wiped out, and you just have burial after burial after burial after burial after funeral after funeral after funeral after funeral after funeral. I mean, he could literally call in gang leaders from around the United States and say, all right, y'all gotta pass to go whack these people. He could do all kinds of things. He could take his own gang and his own gang go deal with them. But these are the birth pains that America must go through to get restored to her dominance in this world. And this is the exposure that has to happen. And it's painful to watch this, man. You kind of want to tune out, but you can't tune out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here.